Nelson is a licensed lender under the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 331060.
This is Nelson from Nelson Radio, and it's important that we talk about a very serious issue. We had bad lending practices that led to the mortgage meltdown, but now we've got the challenge of deplorable customer service coming out of the meltdown. Bottom line, getting a new loan can be like pulling teeth without Novocaine. I've got the solution. Academy Mortgage and my team are injecting into the industry real performance and real accountability. Here are the facts. Appraisals in less than a week. Rate guarantees that can improve if the market goes down. Purchase transactions with our market-exclusive close-on-time guarantees and refinance transactions in as little as 30 days. Who would have thunk? Guaranteed rates and guaranteed performance from your mortgage lender. Call me, Nelson, an accountable loan expert for nearly 3 decades. Direct at 888-888-2136. That's Nelson at 888-888-2136. 888-888-2136 or at strongcreditrewards.com.
Nelson.
Good gravy.
A radio host.
Found myself 2 million short of a millionaire.
Barely understandable.
Gee, Monetti.
We can rebuild him.
Guy's bright as a napkin.
We have the technology.
You gotta work with design, vision, and focus.
Better than he was before.
It's not lonely in my head.
Funnier.
I'm staring at a bowl of spaghetti trying to figure out which two ends come together.
More informative.
Characters defined by what you do once you screw up, not if you make mistakes along the way.
And just as sarcastic.
You sausage.
Oh, come on!
Give us 60 minutes and we'll give you Nelson Radio every Saturday from 2 to 3 p.m. on KTLK AM 1150. With 29 years in the mortgage business and an array of top-level guests visiting the show, Nelson is in a unique position to bring you cutting-edge information on real estate, business, finance, and law. If you have any questions for Nelson or any of his guests, give him a call at 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136. Or check him out online at nelsonradio.com.
Nelson Radio.
Hello, Los Angelinos. We're your host here, Toni Patillo and Nelson. And today, Nelson, we've got a 2-hour special collaboration between Nelson Radio and Call Toni Real Estate Radio. I think we are going to kill this.
A 2-hour collaboration. This is going to make all the hair on your forearm stand up.
Oh, my God. I don't have any hair on my forearm.
Well, then, speaking for me, I already got the chills.
Oh, wow. So today's show is all about teamwork, you guys. Teamwork, and we're here bridging the gap between Los Angeles and Orange County. How about that? In the real estate and mortgage industries. You can always reach out to me with any of your personal questions by jumping online and visiting calltoni.com. That's calltoni.com. And my off-air number is 888-309-9797. That's 888-309-9797. You can reach out to Nelson and go online to nelsonradio.com. That's nelsonradio.com. And his number is 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136. So this week we've got a fantastic group of guests on this special 2-hour collaboration show. First, we'll be holding a roundtable discussion with 2 attorneys. Both are industry leaders, probate attorney Colette Davis and bankruptcy attorney Kelly Johnson. We'll discuss the ins and outs of litigation and really what they get into as far as the meat and potatoes of probate and bankruptcy law.
And then following that roundtable discussion, we have 2 of California's tennis prodigies, homegrown, world-ranked players now breaking their way onto both the men's tour and the women's tour with Stevie Johnson out of USC and Orange County's own Coco Vandeweghe, Kiki Vandeweghe's daughter, and she's also pierced the top 100 and on her way up. The tennis community throughout the world is watching their rise, and so we'll have a chance to peek behind the corner with them.
That's awesome. Really awesome. So after that, we're going to talk with HGT TV stars Stephen Aaron and Christy Bieberick, I believe it's Bieberick, for a dynamic conversation about real estate and design.
And then we're going to wrap it up with Jake's Tech Corner, featuring a representative of the LAX Coastal Chamber of Commerce to talk about the relationship between technology and local business. Wow, what a show, huh?
Wow. Man, I don't know if I got it in me to pull this one off.
No, we got it. We got it, sister.
Oh, boy. So, we usually do a little recap of what we did last week. And last week we had a phenomenal show on Call Toni Real Estate Radio. We had Lori Murphy. Lori Murphy is, she's a real estate attorney, a litigator, and she came in and really got into the nuts and bolts of the pitfalls of real estate, okay? And, we had, of course, my co-host, Carla Dennis, and she came in and talked to us about all of the IRS high-tech tools they're using today to track your digital footprints. You better watch out.
There's more tracking. I know.
You better watch out.
Well,
Nelson.
yeah, I have a long line of digital footprints that I'm already trying to run from. So,
yeah. So, at any rate, we always have Jake's Tech Corner, and last week he talked about Nestio, an application which streamlines the renting process for both renters and landlords. So that was awesome. And Nelson, what did you guys do last week?
We're doing something that's new to our real estate radio network, and we're doing remote broadcasts periodically from estates, some of the high-end luxury properties throughout Southern California. We were out in Malibu with Marco Rufo with Prudential California Realty. He brought this property to market just this past week. It's a beautiful estate, 7,800 square feet, modern style, contemporary home that overlooks Zuma Beach, and I swear I could see the coastline of Japan. It has that kind of view.
Whoa.
It was unbelievable. So we were right there at sunset and taking a look at the property, the building process of that property, dealing with the Coastal Commission, which is pulling teeth without Novocaine. The builder,
that's Malibu,
Eric Knight, who is Ted Knight's son.
Okay.
He acquired the property in 2003, right at the time that the city of Malibu was being formed and went into a 2-year moratorium on issuing any permits, then advanced out of that, finally got his certificate of occupancy in December of 2012.
Wow.
Yeah, talk about a long-time project, but it is a beautiful property, a stunner, as we called it on site.
It's on the market today.
It is.
And what's the price?
It's, I believe, listed at $7.6 million, and it's a beautiful estate that really that private sanctuary kind of estate. It has canyon views. It stares out, obviously, at the ocean down towards Santa Monica, but it's private. And
who's got the listing?
It's Marcos.
Nice, yeah. Marcos. I know Marcos very well.
Yeah, and
Prudential.
And he's I think going to find the right buyer. It's really that celebrity retreat, somebody that wants to be off the radar. There's no vantage points to view the property, and the way they've done the backyard and the swimming pools, they have the swimming pool that. Not only is in the backyard, but it tucks underneath the home, and the interior of the home is. The pool is all glassed out, so you look from that floor through the water out to the property. So really some interesting design that Eric did.
Very cool. So that's some great stuff that you guys are doing radio-wise, some new innovative stuff. That's excellent.
Well, and like our radio does, and what's so dynamic about our programs, it's painting word pictures.
Sure.
And for these properties, bringing the medium of radio to showcasing some key real estate around the Southland. And so it's gaining some traction, and why not talk to 1 million listeners instead of talking to one person at a time?
So it's HG Radio instead of HGTV.
There you go.
Okay.
With our producer, Phil Giangron, leading the charge on that campaign.
Awesome. Well, he's the man, Mr. Magic, I call him.
Mr. Magic. I can't wait to start addressing him as Mr. Magic. MM.
Yes. So tell us about Street Noise. It was brought to you by your Best Chauffeured.
Street Noise presented by Best Chauffeured, worry-free and on-time transportation services. They're a great partner for us and do exactly as their moniker says. You get into their car, you don't think about traffic, you don't think about, am I going to get there on time? They just deliver you, deposit you at your location, and it's really a delight. If you need any transportation, corporate or limousine services, all you need to do is text the word limo to 313131, and they'll take great care of you.
That's awesome. You should have picked me up today.
I should have.
Uh-huh.
I may take you home today.
Well, all right then.
There you have it.
We got to work on
I
that.
only need one invitation to pick you up, and there it is.
And there it is, huh? Oh, that's awesome.
So with our street noise segment, Toni, we do this each week. We reach out to different parts of the Southland and to our affinity network and just get a read on what's taking place intra-industry and what's taking place outside of our marketplace. We have Beth Stein from Coldwell Banker with us on the line. How you doing, Beth?
And where are you? You Pasadena or no?
No, I'm in Beverly Hills.
Beverly Hills. Awesome.
She's in the epicenter. Beverly Hills.
I'm in the epicenter.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm so happy that your husband helps you with your shopping and I don't have to.
That's what teamwork's all about. I think what we're talking about, right?
See, there's
That's
my
right.
segue. You teed me up. Perfect. Thanks. Yeah, we're talking about...
I like to help you out whenever I can, Nelson.
So many people don't realize the collaboration, the amount of people that stand behind a real estate transaction. And right now, we just wanted to get your read on that. I mean, in terms of all the people engaged.
Well, when you're talking about a real estate transaction, you're talking about the agents involved, but really, truly, it's about the buyer and the seller, and you want to make sure everybody's happy, and you have to have a cohesive unit, a partnership, and team making everything happen. And you also have escrow, and you've got title, and if there's a mortgage broker, you've got the mortgage broker. So you've got a lot of different balls in there, a lot of different temperaments to balance. And there's a lot involved in keeping something like that together. We've just seen some incredible transactions lately, but there are other kinds of partnerships. There are partnerships between agents, and that can be, one particular transaction they do together. That can be a whole segment of transactions. That can be a whole business package. Mm-hmm. And to me, the most important thing about any kind of deal, any kind of partnership, any kind of transaction in real estate is you got to have it in writing, and everything's got to be clear, and everybody has to know and have the same understanding what the outcome's going to be.
Communication is the key. Thanks, Beth. Toni, it's one of those situations, exactly that.
Yeah.
There's 15, 17, 18 people involved in any one transaction.
Oh, yeah.
It's not just show up, sign a couple of documents, and then all of a sudden, like many, write a check for the property. So I think that we're going to study that throughout our show, looking at the volume of people that are engaged and just that teamwork, that unifying process.
Yeah. So coming up, we're going to have Mortgage Matters with Mike DeVita from DeVita Home Finance and our attorney roundtable. We're looking forward to that. You're listening to Call Toni Real Estate Radio and Nelson Radio collaboration special here on KTLK AM 1150. You can reach us online here at calltoni.com. That's calltoni with an I.com, or you can call us on our off-air number at 888-309-9797. That's 888-309-9797. And you can reach Nelson online at nelsonradio.com. That's nelsonradio.com, or call him at 888-888-2136. I like that number.
888-888-2136.
2136. Stay close. We'll be right back.
The Nelson Show is brought to you by Best Chauffeured. Best Chauffeured offers personal chauffeur services for corporate events, large and small, and all types of people, not just celebrities. So next time you just want to relax and enjoy the ride, please call on Best Chauffeured Worldwide. It's effortless transportation and first-class service every time. Call 866-323-BEST. That's 866-323-BEST, or online at bestchauffeured.com. Mention KTLK's Nelson Show and receive a special discount. 866-323-BEST, or online at bestchauffeured.com.
Insurance Incorporated are the residential and apartment insurance experts. Unlike agencies that represent one carrier and can only provide one quote, Insurance Incorporated has appointments with the nation's leading insurance carriers, giving you the power of choice. This means more options and savings for you, offering coverage that's both comprehensive and affordable. Their policies for apartments include protection against loss or rents, accusation of wrongful eviction and wrongful entry, vandalism, theft, and slip and fall claims. Show your value as a property manager by being proactive, saving your clients' money and protecting their assets. They can even assist your tenants with renter's insurance. And homeowners, they can save you up to 40% on premiums, including often overlooked liability coverage. Insurance Incorporated are the residential and apartment insurance experts. Call 877-428-8778. That's 877-428-8778, and enjoy better coverage at lower cost. That's Insurance Incorporated, 877-428-8778, or log on to insuranceinc.com.
DOI license number 0235301.
This is Nelson from Nelson Real Estate Radio, and I want to have a very serious conversation with you. Let me paint the word picture. The drinks were innocent enough, just relaxing with friends. Really, I felt fine. Being drunk wasn't even a consideration. Then the rearview mirror lights up with the blue and red, the arrest, cuffed, and in jail. Really? Me? All too frequent, we wish in the somehow, someway category for a do-over, a mulligan to make a different decision. Let me introduce you to Orange County's office of Michael L. Fell. Nearly 2 decades serving in the Orange County District Attorney's Office as a prosecutor, now fighting for your rights in criminal defense. Recognized as one of Orange County's top 5 criminal defense attorneys, ready to represent you against his former colleagues. Save the embarrassment, the potential conviction, the record, the possible loss of job. Call Mike Fell direct for your legal mulligan, a chance to make it right. 949-278-5559. That's 949-278-5559 for the law office of Michael L. Fell. 949-278-5559, or you can text the letters OCDUI to 313131. Welcome back to this week's 2-hour collaboration special of Nelson Radio and Call Toni Radio. The segment brought to you by the law office of Michael L. Fell. To reach any of our referral partners, call 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136, or connect on the web to nelsonradio.com. And to reach Toni Patillo, go online to calltoni.com. That's where I spend my time. Calltoni.com, or call her on her off-air number at 888-309-9797.
That's right. And you know what? We've got a guest that comes on our show. He's actually one of our expert contributing partners. It's DeVita Home Loans, DeVita Mortgage. And Mike DeVita, are you with me?
I'm here. How's it going today?
You're with us. Thank you. Thank you so much. We're doing excellent. And I want to introduce you to Nelson. You guys breathe the same stuff. You speak the same language, and
air.
I got to tell you, the air. Is it air? Anyway, Nelson, meet Mike. He's our superstar on our end, and Mike, meet Nelson. He has our radio show also here on the Clear Channel, and we're doing a powwow show today together. So I just wanted to put us all together.
Hey, Mike, I'm excited to talk to you because, as you know, there are so few accountable lender groups in the lending world. I mean, there's, as you know with your experience, there's plenty of rootin' tootin' shooting cowboys out there that you don't really want to be in business with. And all I hear about you and your company is that you do what you say you're going to do and you perform. I mean, 2 basic tenets of any business, but you actually do it. So congratulations. I'm excited to hear about your update.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
So
and I totally agree with you. There's a lot of jokers that get back into the industry when rates go down. Mm-hmm. And, those are the kind of guys you want to avoid and kind of make us all look bad.
You're going to talk about a couple of things today. You got a couple of topics you wanted to bring to our attention on rates are still being up, but they are stabilizing a little bit. Tell us what's happening out here.
Yeah, I mean, rates shot up about a 1 whole percentage point since the second to last Fed meeting. Mm-hmm. And then there was another Fed meeting afterwards where, Bernanke basically came in and, realized that the intention probably wasn't for rates to shoot up that high. Mm-hmm. And sort of the message now is that the quantitative easing might not happen at the end of this year. It could be pushed out into next year. And actually, as of the last couple of weeks, I'm starting to see a little bit of stabilization in rates and interest rates starting to come back down a little bit.
Nice.
So that's a nice thing. Rates are still up, and I always encourage people, buyers out there, to contact their mortgage broker. Make sure that they get reassessed for how much they can buy now. Mm-hmm. Because when rates go up, your buying power goes down.
Big time. Yeah, we had a couple of clients recently that lost buying power just with that little tick of an upstroke. But, it's important. It's important for people to recognize that they're not overextending themselves. And the mirror, I'm sure you experienced this too,
absolutely.
Nelson.
And Mike, do you have your clients actually issue rate guarantees? Is that part of your strategy as well?
What do you mean by rate guarantee?
Well, in terms of when you launch your transactions, are you freezing the interest rate and knowing that's waiting for you at the finish line, or with the ups and downs, or is it something that you're just taking that to market and allowing the interest rates to float for a period of time?
Well, it just all depends on the client. I mean, if I have something that's tight and it goes into escrow, with the market being so volatile, I'd probably lock it down. And if I knew that the ratios were, I could get it done with where the rate was today.
Right.
I do have some clients right now who want to refinance. They speculated a little bit. The market shifted in the opposite direction, and we're waiting. So it just kind of depends on the situation. But most of my clients that I work with at Toni, I usually like to lock them in, out of the gate and make sure we can deliver the terms that we agreed upon.
What's crazy, Tony, is Mike referenced how there was this uptick in the marketplace, and as always, interest rates are quick to react up and slow to trickle back down.
Right.
And I know, Mike, when I was talking to my clients about interest rates and referencing that the rates went to whichever number, but the reaction, let's say they moved from 4 to 4.5 as an example, and they all of a sudden had that reaction of 4.5. Wow, that's a high interest rate.
Yeah, right.
And I kind of giggled to myself because it's all cheap money, right?
That's right. Yeah, that's one of the things I point out every week on our show is that it is really very, very this historically low interest rate. So we're really very fortunate. This is not a bad space at all. So this is a great time to buy, great time to sell. And Mike, I want to just thank you for coming in and joining us today.
My pleasure.
We're going to be moving right along here. We got a long show today, so I want to thank you again. We have two fantastic lawyers here on the show today, bankruptcy attorney Kelly Johnson and probate attorney Colette Davis. Nelson and I will be looking to them for their expert opinions so that you at home can get as much insight as possible out of this roundtable discussion that we're going to have. Please be aware that everything that they say is purely educational. It's not to be construed as client attorney advice. So we are really looking forward to this roundtable, right, Nelson?
That'll be good. And it's just, I know with Kelly, and I'm soon to learn with Colette, that you get straight opinion. You get straight answers as opposed to, 50,000 maybes or perhaps, or it seems as if. And that's what I look for. When I'm needing legal counsel, I want some precision and some clear direction on really somebody coming in and coaching me rightfully on do exactly these things because of these reasons.
Absolutely. And it doesn't hurt to get a second opinion, but then again, it's important to have expert contribution. Okay?
Absolutely.
So, thanks so much, Mike. Are you still with us?
I'm here.
Okay,
yes, you're welcome.
We're going to say goodbye and have a great week, and we'll see you next week.
Same to you. Have a great show.
Thanks for your good work, Mike.
You're welcome.
So we've got Colette Davis coming up with us now. She's a graduate of Southwestern University, California State University, L.A. Colette Davis is an attorney licensed in North Carolina and California, including the U.S. District Court in both states. She has over 20 years of experience under her belt. Ms. Davis's firm focuses on probate, estate planning, guardianship, conservatorship, and bankruptcy law, and she has represented over 1,500 client matters during her career. She has previously served on the executive committee of the probate division of the Los Angeles County Bar Association, and in 2004 through 2006, and Judicial Committee with Black Women's Lawyers of Los Angeles, 2003 to 2005, in addition to serving on numerous other boards and committees. Colette, welcome to the show.
Hi, how are you?
Doing great.
And joining Colette, we also have Kelly Johnson, a graduate of Pepperdine University and in practice since 1991, one of the keen minds in the bankruptcy space down in Orange County, and really showcasing in his practice how he can help people retain their homes.
Nice.
And this is the big challenge, obviously, throughout the country, and certainly a concentration in in California, of people that desperately want their home. They're married, they're raising their kids, and financial problems come up, sure, but to retain your home in the process, I think that's one of the victories that's surrounded by tragedy sometimes with having to go through a bankruptcy filing. So Colette, Kelly, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Glad we're really excited to have both of you here. When we come back, we're going to be doing a complete roundtable, and we're going to just bounce questions around with both of you. You can even talk to yourselves if you want. No, I'm just kidding.
No problem.
But I think it'll be a lot of fun, and I think what we'll do is bring the listeners some really valuable information. You guys both have such distinct areas of law that you're working in, and they are somehow interrelated in many cases, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we're looking forward to that.
Great insights around the corner.
Yeah. Coming up, we're going to be continuing this roundtable with attorneys Colette Davis and Kelly S. Johnson. You don't want to miss their expert insights. So
this segment brought to you by Academy Mortgage, providing its market-exclusive lock and shop rate guarantees, freezing the interest rate, having it wait for you at the finish line as you go find the property that you want to purchase.
Yep.
It's a great program. We'll be right back. You can reach us, 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136. Or call Toni direct at 888-309-9797. Jump on the web. You can also click through to calltony.com or nelsonradio.com. We'll be right back. This is Nelson from Nelson Real Estate Radio, and I want to have a very serious conversation with you. Let me paint the word picture. The drinks were innocent enough, just relaxing with friends. Really, I felt fine. Being drunk wasn't even a consideration. Then the rearview mirror lights up with the blue and red. The arrest, cuffed, and in jail. Really? Me? All too frequent, we wish in the somehow, someway category for a do-over, a mulligan to make a different decision. Let me introduce you to Orange County's Office of Michael L. Feld. Nearly 2 decades serving in the Orange County District Attorney's Office as a prosecutor, now fighting for your rights in criminal defense. Recognized as one of Orange County's top 5 criminal defense attorneys, ready to represent you against his former colleagues. Save the embarrassment, the potential conviction, the record, the possible loss of job. Call Mike Feld direct for your legal mulligan, a chance to make it right. 949-278-5559. That's 949-278-5559 for the law office of Michael L. Feld. 949-278-5559, or you can text the letters OCDUI to 313131.
The Nelson Show is brought to you by Best Chauffeured. Best Chauffeured offers personal chauffeur services for corporate events, large and small, and all types of people, not just celebrities. So next time you just want to relax and enjoy the ride, please call on Best Chauffeured Worldwide. It's effortless transportation and first-class service every time. Call 866-323-BEST. That's 866-323-BEST or online at bestchauffeured.com. Mention KTLK's Nelson Show and receive a special discount. 866-323-BEST or online at bestchauffeured.com.
Everyone loves a good mystery, but that's hardly the case when you're in a real estate transaction. With Title365.com, the mystery behind title insurance and escrow services has been kicked to the curb. You gain instant access to status and downloadable documents. Want customized real-time order information and documents as they happen 24/7, 365? No problem. And for the first time, Title365 is bringing together leading professionals working on your real estate transaction, so the process is even more transparent and efficient thanks to up-to-the-minute communication. You can even retrieve contact information for leading professionals offering real estate and home-related services right in your own community and learn more about title insurance all in one convenient place. Be sure to ask your local realtor, lender, or escrow officer about Title365 or visit Title365.com. Mystery solved.
Welcome back to this 2-hour collaboration special of Call Tony Radio and Nelson Radio. This segment is presented by Academy Mortgage with its exclusive lock and drop rate guarantee. It's a great program. Freeze the interest rate. Take those worries off rising interest rates while you shop for the property and have that rate waiting for you at the finish line. With any questions that come out through the show, you can reach myself, 888-888-2136. That's Nelson at 888-888-2136. Or you can reach Tony at 888-309-9797. That's 888-309-9797.
If you're just tuning in, we're talking to attorneys Colette Davis and Kelly Johnson about probate and bankruptcy law. Now, Kelly, can you, we're going to start with you. Can you give us some insight into the emotional dimension of bankruptcy law and the situation of clients who must sell not by choice? By the way, this is my specialty. I sell real estate for people who must sell not by choice. And I have to say, Nelson, it is a roller coaster. Okay, it's a roller coaster of a ride. It's a very emotional process. So
Absolutely.
I'd like you to chime in on that, Kelly, if you would.
Absolutely, Tony. Well, what happens is people have been in the home a period of time, and a lot of times it's hard to leave, even faced with financial difficulties, job loss, divorce, etc.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I'll try to accomplish what the client is trying to achieve. If they're trying to retain the home short-term until they can have a transition, or if it's a situation whereby they don't have finances to be able to move, then we'll try to keep them there as long as possible. And a lot of times there's other financial factors that come into play. But usually try to see what's best for the client. Sometimes they aren't realistic because they can't either afford the house short-term or long-term, in which case a realtor such as yourself will come into play. And a lot of times what I will do will be extend the stay while someone's trying to do a traditional sale, a short sale, a loan modification. And then if they're also in the foreclosure process and the property's not sold, we'll try to slow that down potentially through a Chapter 7 or 13 bankruptcy. In which case you can then at least keep the options open for later to go forward and complete a sale, see if the buyer or the seller can get something out of the property, and it just depends on the situation. But it's trying to accomplish the client's objectives, but they need to be realistic too.
Right.
And Kelly, with you involved with bankruptcy, and Colette, you in the probate space, you're coming into people's lives in a traumatic time. And emotions, clear thinking and logic and reason isn't necessarily there. What are you doing with those kinds of emotions? How do you manage that when you still have a task at hand and you're trying to speak clearly and give them direction? It's got to be rough.
Yeah. You exercise a lot of patience with them because you have to realize in my particular area, I'm dealing with probate. That means that someone's recently passed away, generally a mother, a father, a sister, brother. Right. Whether it's the parent taking care of their children's estate or a child's estate or a child taking care of a parent's estate, you have all of that built in. Plus you have the dynamics of the sibling rivalry and all those things that you really have to take a lot of patience and kind of step through the program and the process so then they understand what to expect, how long it's going to take, because it's a lengthy process. And so they're going to be dealing with these things for quite some time. And we just simply step through each and every step so they can understand what to expect, how it's going to go, and what ultimately is going to come out of it.
And, I'm just going to back us up a moment because many of our listeners don't even know what probate is. So can you just explain what probate is in a short version of it so that our listeners can kind of roll with us on this dialogue?
Okay. Probate is basically a court process whereby you transfer property from a decedent, which means, someone passed away and they owned a piece of property, they own items. Right. We transfer it from that person's ownership to a living person. And you walk it through the superior court.
Got it. Yeah. Perfect. Thank you for sharing that.
Sure.
And it's typically the case when somebody hasn't gone through that preparation as far as having an estate in place or will or trust in place, correct?
Yeah. The thing is that a lot of people think that if you draft a will, you avoid probate, which is not the case.
Right.
The only way you can avoid probate is by drafting a trust, a living trust or something that's going to take it out of the decedent's name before they become a decedent. And therefore, it's transferring to an entity that can transfer it after they pass away. So a will doesn't do that. But otherwise, you work it through that way.
Kelly, do you find that in your practice with a bankruptcy that a death of one spouse or the other can lead to financial demise and actually lead to a bankruptcy on top of everything else?
Well, absolutely. At times it can, Nelson. It depends on their financial situation overall. But by having someone pass, if they were the breadwinner for the family, they don't have the same income to support the household. And once again, they have to consider their options. What's in their best interest, whether to retain the property. A lot of times it depends, is there equity? Is there a lot of debt against the property? Right. Are they going to be able to continue paying for the property in terms of the monthly payment, the maintenance, the insurance, if there's HOA involved, et cetera. So it's all those things, once again, that need to be considered on a go-forward basis.
You know, Toni, we were talking about teamwork throughout our show and how to collaborate, how to have that roadmap so all of these individual entities can come together and flow through a transaction. And I imagine with dealing with the probate space and with the bankruptcy space, you know the roadmap. Somebody that's now going through it is not exposed to it. So you're spending time just to have to draft out and just lead them through that process, I'm assuming, of saying, hey, we're launching here. Here's the 52 steps that we have to go through.
Right.
But just that, creating a North Star so you can follow.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Well, you know, Kelly, I want to know if, well, of course, I have a lot of bankruptcy colleagues that I work with as well. And I know that for the most part, this is a level of protection for the client, correct? And this allows them to get back on their feet. Do you ever see clients who are better off after filing bankruptcy than before doing so?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Once again, it's kind of a case-by-case basis, but in bankruptcy, there's always an issue with regard to the value of the property. And in Chapter 7 in particular, if they have an abundance of unsecured debt and need to discharge that debt, then what comes into play is the value of the home,
right?
The equity, what's owed against it, and whether or not they can exempt that equity in bankruptcy. So if so, they can retain it, try to sell it, maybe get a little money out of a sale. If it's a situation where there's over 150,000 of equity and they can't exempt it, then it's a situation where the bankruptcy trustee may step in and administer the asset and sell it. So a lot of times there's negotiations with the trustee. It's kind of horse trading, trying to work something out so you can control the situation rather than just simply the trustee stepping in and saying, I'm going to sell it, you get what you get, and we're moving on. So
let me throw this out to either one of you. It's with probate or with bankruptcy, real estate, is that involved 90% of the time, 100% of the time?
Quite a bit. Go ahead.
Absolutely. In probate, it's involved almost 100% of the time.
Wow.
Yeah. Because in California, particularly, if it's only cash assets when someone passes away and they have $150,000 or less, they don't have to go through a probate process.
Right.
But every piece of real property has to go through some type of court process.
Give me an example. You're obviously dealing with siblings and the Bickersons, perhaps.
Yes.
What are you doing to navigate that?
Well, the good part is that you have to have one responsible person. If two people are arguing about it, generally speaking, the court's going to appoint an independent third party to operate. And that's a turning point for the family because they don't want someone else coming in. So we can normally get them to cooperate.
Is that easier for you when a mediator comes in?
Absolutely, because we don't have to worry about the bickering. Yeah. But at the same time, we do have to worry about all the phone calls from the family trying to find out what's going on, when we're going to get paid, how things are going to go. So.
And on the bankruptcy end, similarly, that's usually the big ticket item is the real estate. People have personal property, which are usually cars and other things and cash accounts and whatever. But in bankruptcy, typically the real estate is the main asset that either needs to be resolved, sold, or administered by the trustee, depending, once again, on the equity in the property.
Well, I'll tell you, I have we all probably should have some dialogue because my specialization is with those properties that have no equity. And I have seen a lot of bankruptcy trustees and attorneys and probate attorneys who have basically looked at certain cases and said there's no equity here, so there's really nothing to go forward with. But I actually have a formula that allows the estate to be paid and the attorneys to be paid. So you should probably give me a call.
That makes everybody happy.
I want to hear more about this because obviously you've been in the bankruptcy space for a long, long time. With probate, you're dealing obviously with the death of a family member and obviously with your bankruptcy. And I've been the recipient of a bankruptcy. I've gone into that and come out of, and so I clearly have some insights that I want to share. When we come back, we'll finish up with Colette and Kelly and then go into this week's Coach's Corner featuring two tennis prodigies coming out of California that we want to peek behind the curtain and take a look at their lives. This segment brought to you by Academy Mortgage with our exclusive lock and shop rate guarantee. You can reach us direct, 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136, or click through to nelsonradio.com. And you can also reach out to Toni Patillo. Go online to calltoni.com. That's calltoni.com, or you can call her off air at 888-309-9797. That's 888-309-9797. We'll be right back with Toni and Nelson.
Everyone loves a good mystery, but that's hardly the case when you're in a real estate transaction. With Title365.com, the mystery behind title insurance and escrow services has been kicked to the curb. You gain instant access to status and downloadable documents. Want customized real-time order information and documents as they happen 24/7, 365? No problem. And for the first time, Title365 is bringing together leading professionals working on your real estate transaction, so the process is even more transparent and efficient thanks to up-to-the-minute communication. You can even retrieve contact information for leading professionals offering real estate and home-related services right in your own community and learn more about title insurance all in one convenient place. Be sure to ask your local realtor, lender, or escrow officer about Title 365 or visit Title365.com. Mystery solved.
This is Nelson from Nelson Real Estate Radio, and I want to have a very serious conversation with you. Let me paint the word picture. The drinks were innocent enough, just relaxing with friends. Really, I felt fine. Being drunk wasn't even a consideration. Then the rearview mirror lights up with the blue and red, the arrest, cuffed, and in jail. Really? Me? All too frequent, we wish in the somehow, someway category for a do-over, a mulligan to make a different decision. Let me introduce you to Orange County's office of Michael L. Feld. Nearly 2 decades serving in the Orange County District Attorney's Office as a prosecutor, now fighting for your rights in criminal defense. Recognized as one of Orange County's top 5 criminal defense attorneys, ready to represent you against his former colleagues. Save the embarrassment, the potential conviction, the record, the possible loss of job. Call Mike Feld direct for your legal mulligan, a chance to make it right. 949-278-5559. That's 949-278-5559 for the law office of Michael L. Feld. 949-278-5559, or you can text the letters OCDUI to 313131.
Insurance Incorporated are the residential and apartment insurance experts. Unlike agencies that represent one carrier and can only provide one quote, Insurance Incorporated has appointments with the nation's leading insurance carriers, giving you the power of choice. This means more options and savings for you, offering coverage that's both comprehensive and affordable. Their policies for apartments include protection against loss or rents, accusation of wrongful eviction and wrongful entry, vandalism, theft, and slip and fall claims. Show your value as a property manager by being proactive, saving your clients money and protecting their assets. They can even assist your tenants with renter's insurance. And homeowners, they can save you up to 40% on premiums, including often overlooked liability coverage. Insurance Incorporated are the residential and apartment insurance experts. Call 877-428-8778. That's 877-428-8778 and enjoy better coverage at lower cost. That's Insurance Incorporated, 877-428-8778, or log on to insuranceinc.com. DOI license number 023531.
The Nelson Show is brought to you by Best Chauffeured. Best Chauffeured offers personal chauffeur services for corporate events, large and small, and all types of people, not just celebrities. So next time you just want to relax and enjoy the ride, please call on Best Chauffeured Worldwide. It's effortless transportation and first-class service every time. Call 866-323-BEST. That's 866-323-BEST or online at bestchauffeured.com. Mention KTLK's Nelson Show and receive a special discount. 866-323-BEST or online at bestchauffeured.com.
Welcome back to this 2-hour collaboration special of Call Toni Radio and Nelson Radio. This segment brought to you by our sponsors, Insurance Incorporated, reducing insurance premiums up to 40%. Anytime during our show, if you want to connect with us, you can reach Nelson Radio at 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136, or the famed Call Toni Show at 888-309-9797, 888-309-9797. And Toni, we're back with Colette and Kelly just to finish up and looking at this probate. I mean, it's a complicated process, whether you're going through probate or going through bankruptcy, where Kelly Johnson specializes his focus. And I just wanted to finish up a couple more questions. Kelly, as you and I have shared, I've gone through a bankruptcy. There's this little thing that took place in my industry back in the 2000s, the mortgage meltdown. Huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know if you ever heard about that, but it took a company like mine of 25 years, a debt-free company, And by 2010, that tide still swept up and got us. And it forced our hand into bankruptcy. And it was, it's not, invasive is not the right word.
You weren't the only one.
And it was invasive as a family, not just myself going through a business loss as a business person. It impacted, obviously, deeply my wife. My kids knew what was going on. And so when you have these kinds of situations, I mean, yes, you're a professional legal counsel. Are you also just an emotional counselor, emotional coach along the way?
Well, that's part of it. You have to do a lot of hand-holding, and I had several clients who had small mortgage companies during that time period, and when they lost the businesses, they had guaranteed leases, they had guaranteed other loans and other financial obligations. So when the company went south, unfortunately, they followed many a time because they also had guaranteed a lot of that debt. So the big thing is, though, that was a market situation. And for someone like you and others, they either got into a different industry or just kind of reinvented their real estate business and got back out there. So what impresses me, Nelson, is the people that get knocked down and then they get back up and go do it either differently or better. And that's what I like to see. And that's what I try to help people do. Let them know that it's not the end of the world, and keeping in mind that Chapter 7, the whole purpose is to get a fresh start. And that's what it provides.
Right.
Life after bankruptcy and life after probate. That sounds funny the way I'm saying that, but mortality is running at 100%. And people obviously are going to be faced with this, whether they're prepared for or not.
That's correct.
And how much of your practice, Colette, is coaching them, your clients, on the rebound?
A lot. Most of our clients don't know what to do with the assets they receive through a probate process.
Sure.
And so we have to try to make sure that they don't spend everything up front. They don't encumber their inheritance up front, because that's a big market as well. So that way, at the end of the road, they will receive something that they can go and use to invest in things like that. Because the fact of the matter is that whoever passed away and gave them that, they're not going to die again.
Right.
To give them another nest egg like that. So they have to be able to utilize it in the best way possible.
Good point.
You know, I think that that's the beauty of this teamwork, this collaboration topic that we're talking about today, is that when you have a trusted group of advisors that can surround a family who's going through these kinds of challenges, we can all bring to the table our levels of expertise to console them, to embrace them, to empower them to get through the crisis. And I just think it's a real beautiful thing when we can all put our heads together. We have all different levels of expertise on multiple scales. And I think that's what it's all about, is teamwork, collaboration, and empowerment, right?
Absolutely.
And similar goal, which is to put somebody in a better position.
That's right.
Yes.
That's
well,
right.
It's good insight, and I want to thank you because you're dealing with traumatic issues. And, you know, it's just like when I interviewed Billie Jean King on our show a few weeks ago, and she was talking about the tribe of people that surrounded her for her successes. Okay, she's the ambassador. She's had success. She's lost it.
Sure.
And it's not just a party of one. It's a collaboration. It is a team of people.
Yep.
I want to thank you both for being with us. I mean, great insights, and I want to encourage our listeners to reach out, find out more. You can reach through to Colette and her practice through calltony.com and Kelly Johnson through nelsonradio.com. We're going to switch gears here. Appreciate you being with us. We're going to switch gears to Coach's Corner. And Coach's Corner is a time where we're going to take a look at a couple of young athletic prodigies that are coming up out of California.
Very nice.
Stevie Johnson, who's two-time NC2A champion, had a great run of 72 matches, a 72-0 run as he finished his college career and is now in his second year out in the pro ranks, piercing the top 100 in his ranking, and is thought to be perhaps a top 10 player in the world as he marches his way up. And also Orange County's own Coco Vandeweghe. Kiki Vandeweghe's daughter is out on the tour. She's a younger prodigy, just 19 years old, now in her third year on tour, and now also piercing the top 100 in the world. And so we're going to get a little peek behind the corner of what their world is like and the community of people it takes to be a professional athlete.
Awesome. Looking forward to that.
This is a monumental, historic interview. We're down in the bowels of the Bren Center, getting ready for World Team Tennis, and I'm with up-and-coming superstar Coco Vandeweghe. Welcome to Nelson Radio.
Thanks for joining me on the training tables while I get stretched out.
Yeah, we promoted this as pillow talk, but it's really, I'm on a separate training table as we conduct this interview. We do have some bystanders that are really wondering what's going on here, but this has got to be in the industry first.
Oh yeah, I mean, you gotta catch me while you can, otherwise I'm gone, as you know.
Well, in that vein, so with coming onto the professional ranks, you've been out on tour for how long?
Ooh, 3, almost 4 years.
And has it been a rocket ascent into the rankings, or has it been a long, hard, arduous road?
No, it's been hard. You know, it hasn't been easy. I've dealt with a lot of adversity, so, you know, as comes with professional sports, as injuries and different things like that. And, you know, it's taking it one step at a time and trying to keep the mental fortitude of keep trekking at it and back nose to the grindstone.
And I think that mental fortitude, you mentioned that's probably one of the most difficult things, because everybody sees the end result of all of your training. They see you walk out on the court, there's a crowd around, and from every little girl that's watching you, they go, gosh, if only I could, you know, it's that easy, right? Mm-hmm. But they don't see the hours and the hours and the hours of commitment that it takes to just be in that position to walk out the court.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just give you a little snap of my day. Like, today I was up at 6 a.m. After, you know, a couple grinding days of fly and play for World Team Tennis, finishing at 12 o'clock and then waking up 6 a.m. the next day to fly and play another night. So I had a nice home day and was up at 6 a.m. training by 8, and then finished at 10. And then I was on the practice court at noon. And then I was back here at 4 o'clock to warm up for the match tonight at 7.
And so it's technically not 2 days or 3 days, it's 4 days.
Pretty much. I mean, it's what we do to get prepared, especially for Americans coming up in the U.S. Open Hardcourt Series, is where we want to do the best and show, you know, everything we got and, you know, do well for American tennis.
It's been a quick 3 years probably. Are there already, in the third year of your career, are there already just a whole library of done things where you go, oh, that's something I'll always remember?
Yeah, coming up, I'm going to be playing in the Bank of the West Classic, where last year I made the finals, lost to Serena, so it's kind of like a little bit strange to me to go to a tournament as the returning finalist, which is pretty cool. So we'll see how that one goes, and you know, to go play at all the Grand Slams is also amazing. Growing up, watching all these, you know, idols that I had growing up play at the Grand Slams, and then I get to experience it myself is pretty darn cool.
You get this question, I'm certain, a lot. The U.S. Open or Wimbledon? What is more in that awe factor?
Well, both in their different ways. U.S. Open with the bright lights and everything like that is pretty darn cool. I've had the opportunity to play 2 night matches on Arthur Ashe. The first time was my first time playing at the U.S. Open. I was night match on Arthur Ashe. So talk about getting thrown to the wolves a little bit. But I got to play on a show court at Wimbledon. Just the prestige and, you know, the history of Wimbledon, the beauty of, you know, being on a grass court is something in itself.
It's and I remember that when I played there. Now this goes back like 200 years ago. But when I was there, so many of the players showed up and they had that goal to hoist the trophy, and I wanted to bow to the royal box. And so we played first round. First round winner goes on to play Edward. Second round on center court.
Right.
4 tiebreakers. Didn't happen.
Oh.
But you've been to the show court, so does the court fall away when you're in that kind of environment, or do you have every bit of awareness, seeing what's going on around you?
A little bit. I mean, Arthur Ashe is something else. I mean, you've never been on a bigger stadium. I mean, for tennis, it's the biggest stadium we have, and Earth, Wind, and Fire opened up for me. So it's like, whoa, where am I? I mean, I was 16 and I come out on Arthur Ashe and I had no idea what was going on for the first game. I hit an ace my first point, and I had no idea where it was going. If it went into like 10th row in the stands, I probably would have, wouldn't have been surprised. So it's nerve-wracking at the same time, but you try and make it kind of disappear and go to the back of your mind as quick as you can.
Thanks so much for being on Nelson Radio. We wish you luck tonight. We're watching your career. It's great to see that you've pierced the top 100 and hoping to climb higher, so
Yes.
That'll be a great venture.
Thank you.
Well done.
This segment with Coco Vandaway was brought to you by Insurance Incorporated, cutting premiums up to 40%. Call us direct, 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136. Or click through to nelsonradio.com. You can also reach Toni Patillo. Go online to calltony.com. That's calltony.com. Or give her a call direct on her off-air number, 888-309-9797. That's 888-309-9797. We'll be right back.
Nelson is a licensed lender under the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 331060.
This is Nelson from Nelson Radio, and it's important that we talk about a very serious issue. We had bad lending practices that led to the mortgage meltdown, but now we've got the challenge of deplorable customer service coming out of the meltdown. Bottom line, getting a new loan can be like pulling teeth without Novocaine. I've got the solution. Academy Mortgage and my team are injecting into the industry real performance and real accountability. Here are the facts. Appraisals in less than a week. Rate guarantees that can improve if the market goes down. Purchase transactions with our market-exclusive close-on-time guarantees and refinance transactions in as little as 30 days. Who would have thunk? Guaranteed rates and guaranteed performance from your mortgage lender. Call me, Nelson, an accountable loan expert for nearly 3 decades. Direct at 888-888-2136. That's Nelson at 888-888-2136. 888-888-2136 or at strongcreditrewards.com.